Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Welcome to my series of exposés on the horrific stories of Australia Post. Um, okay, so I'm a collector. I get a lot of stuff from eBay, and I have a lot of issues with Australia Post, allegedly, supposedly, apparently. Um, this happened a little while ago. I had multiple packages arriving in the post, and two of them were supposed to be delivered soon. One I was expecting pretty much the next day, and I was monitoring them through the app and everything because I know all the names of the distribution centers and everything where they go, between whatever destinations, whatever states, and Victoria. I sort of know all the names of everything. I know where they go, so I can tell how far away they are and how long they're going to be. So there's two that have gone to Melbourne North and are being sent to Somerton. So that's normally about 1 day, maybe 2 days away from actually getting to me. So I'm like, great, they should be here, tomorrow, the next day, and I'm waiting for sort of the update that evening to see where it's going to be, so I know if it's going to arrive the next day. And then I notice they're still there, and I'm like, okay, they guess they got delayed, and another day or so passes, and they're still there. I'm like, I open it up and look closely, and I'm like, oh, they're not in the same place. They've gone backwards and forwards. They went from Melbourne North to being sent to Somerton, to Melbourne North again, then being sent to Somerton, then Melbourne North. One went like backwards and forwards 5 times. The other one I think was 3 times. I'm like, okay, these seem to be in some sort of loop. So I called up Australia Post, and they told me, of course, I had to speak to two sociopaths before I got to one actual customer service worker, and they explained to me that the parcels, there must be a problem with the actual the address, and the computer can't read it properly, so it's just going backwards and forwards within the actual not factory, the facility. So they told me basically what's happening is it's being sent out, but then it can't be received, and it's being put back on the truck and sent back. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So it's literally leaving the facility and going back every day because it can't be received for some reason. And they said, it looks like it. And they looked at one and they said, well, this one has no information, so we don't know. The other one, we've got the information, but the eBay has put in a code into the address, which has put everything off of the format. So that's probably the issue. What will happen is it'll eventually get pulled off the floor by someone who will look at it manually, and they'll be able to sort it out, because the address, of course, is all there, even if it's not in the right format and the computer can't read it. And I'm like, okay, what about the other one? They're like, we don't know. So, and that was the one that had been through the loop like 3 times. The one with the eBay malformatted label was the one that had gone through 5 times. So I thought, okay, hopefully this will arrive somehow. I don't know what to do. So I called and complained of that, and I didn't know what they were going to do. Well, the next day, I get a message telling me that they're both at the post office. So basically someone went onto the floor, pulled them off, and then sent them to a post office instead of sending them to the parcel locker, because they should have seen the addresses of the parcel lockers and just sent them onto the parcel locker manually. Instead, they sent them to the post office. So then I have to collect them from the post office. Now, this is a nightmare. So I do something a little crazy, but it worked. I basically wrote a note, and I said, I have 2 packages, here are the tracking numbers. I'm going to wait out, I'll be back in 5 minutes. So I walk in with my mask and my face shield, put that and my ID down, go around in a circle, don't even stop, go out the door, come back 5 minutes. I come back in, and the guys have the parcels sitting on the floor near the door, and one comes over and gives me the card back, and I basically grab them and walk out without really pausing. So I didn't spend any time breathing their COVID air, and I'm like, that worked really well. I wrote it in big black marker or everything. I felt like a bank robber because I'm like coming in, giving them a note. But yeah, they're fine with it. And I got them, so I didn't have to like go to the other post office, which is a really big one, which is always crowded, and it literally has a long line of people who, of course, don't wear masks, and you can't get through. They've got like 3 desks. This other one is a really small one, so I use the parcel locker because it usually the ones I use usually defer those any parcels to that post office because it's really small, so it's easier to use. I've done that once before where I went in really quick. because there was no one there basically. So I got them, but then I had another incident where the exact same thing happened. I had two parcels and they're doing the same thing. They're going backwards and forwards. And something one of the people had told me was that the items weren't actually being put on a truck and sent out and then coming back because they couldn't be received. They were going from one area of the facility to another area. Like they were being scanned and categorized, and then because they couldn't be sent on, they were being put back and then recategorized and sent again. It was a way of moving them around the facility because they couldn't leave the facility, which made a bit more sense than being put on a truck and coming back and that. But so the next time this happened, I just thought, just wait, see what happens. I waited a day or two, and both of them ended up in the parcel lockers. So I don't know what the moral there is, but either way, there's a lot of hassle.